What's going on, Clippers fans? How's everybody doing this Monday evening? Welcome to Clips and Dip, Season 3, Episode 50. I am Chuck Mockler. We got the full crew. We got Adam Oslin. We got William Updike. We are here to talk about what the heck is going on with the Clippers. We're going to talk losing the 2 games to the Lakers. We're going to talk losing Norm to injury. We're going to talk the Clippers vs. Suns preview because that game is incredibly important. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the Jordan Miller contract and how we feel about the month of March. If you're watching us at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast, thank you. We genuinely appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out. If you're listening, we love that too. If you want to watch, you can always subscribe over on YouTube. Fellas, how are we doing? Adam, we'll start with you. How's it going?
It could be worse. I like what I saw from Kawhi last night. As predicted, he'd be off the minutes restriction this weekend. Not as predicted, they'd still go 0-2.
Yeah, nice to see the minutes restriction lifted. Some real bad discourse happening on Twitter about minutes restrictions and how much the Clippers play against certain teams. I'm going to let the listeners discover that themselves. Will, you and I were watching the Oscars and the game last night. How are you doing this morning? Do you feel? I was pretty down last night. We were watching the game with the Frolic Room. I was not feeling it. Will, have we switched? How are you feeling?
Yeah, not great, man. It's not a great spot to be. You mentioned the injury report for the game against Phoenix. That's not looking great either. It's nice that Kawhi is looking a little better, but Adam even pulled up some film to sully that. So thanks for that, Adam.
He's not on the injury report.
He is not on the injury report. He did keep playing after he was grabbing his
Adam's
leg.
Zaprudered Kawhi grabbing his knee.
I think that might be a mental thing. He's just checking. He's making sure it's okay.
I watch every single time Kawhi falls and wait with bated breath. I mean, come on. How can you not?
That is true. The Clippers, in case you missed it, dropped the 2 games to the Lakers, and Norm got hurt. Do we want to talk about the 1 or maybe 2 positives from these games? I say the 1 positive is Kawhi Leonard. Hey, building blocks, best game of the season last night.
He looked great.
Right? Yeah.
He looked legit like Kawhi from last year. He did. He had a ton of pop out there. He got to his mid-range finally. That was the missing ingredient, which kind of made me hopeful. Like, well, he can't be done hitting shots in the mid-range, right? He's too good at this. There's no way that's the thing that's going to fall off first. And last night he was there.
Yeah, it felt good. I felt like kind of watching another classic like Clipper situation where one guy is doing very good and it can't, no one else can really coalesce around it. Will, how are you overall encouraged from Kawhi looking good, I'd imagine?
Yeah, of course. How could you not be? It is, probably like the one positive takeaway, especially given, some of the other setbacks that have happened since. But yeah, if Kawhi can get back to being that guy, it gives the Clippers obviously a much better shot, especially with a grueling month in which they might not have Norm Powell, which seems. Well, I mean, to be fair, if Kawhi is back, now is the time to really shine. Now is the time to really let it fly and just remind everyone where he's at.
Yes, Norm was taken out of game 2 with a hamstring injury. He's listed as a strain on the injury report for the game against Phoenix.
What did you make of his Instagram thing?
Oh, yeah, the Instagram post where he said this is some bullshit. I think he was probably just mad about being hurt.
Yeah. He was frustrated. He just got back, plays 9 minutes. Now something else gone wrong. It's unbelievable.
Just frustration. Yeah, what do we think? We're all doctors, of course, famously, the only podcast hosted by 3 doctors, specifically hamstring doctors. Like a week and a half, 2 weeks? Is that kind of what we've been seeing from the hamstring strains?
My medical schooling tells me that
Biola. Yeah, you got the MD from Biola.
I'm going with 2 weeks, and if it's anything less, great. But I'm thinking at least 2 weeks, but I don't know.
He's so important to the team, and we haven't seen them rush people back. I know there are some people thinking that maybe Norm got rushed back or he played through some kind of injury, but
it was weird for him to be down coming out of the All-Star break.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Another situation where more rest makes this older team somehow more fragile. But I think they got to be cautious with Norm. This team is playing so badly. And we can't have a 65% Norm out there trying to pick up some of the scoring slack, because that's how you get hurt even more, I think, right? Like they're going to be slow with this, I think.
Yeah, I would assume they're even more cautious now.
Okay, I have one more good thing to talk about, and then we can talk about all the bad things that happened in the Lakers game, or maybe some of them. Justin Rousseau, our favorite French fur trapping Clippers beat reporter, tweeted out that the Clippers this season are top 10 in shot quality per basketball index, despite the recent downturn offensively, 23rd in offensive rating and 3-point percentage since the All-Star break. The process has seemed sound. Does that make y'all feel any better, or are we just a bad shooting team now?
It'd make me feel better if teams weren't shooting like their best percentages against us, I suppose.
I think that's a fair point.
It can't be both things.
It can't?
I mean, it is, but not if you want to win.
Not for success. Yeah, not if it's, as some are saying, our year. Adam, does that make you feel any better? The buckets will be there, kind of
does
vibe.
that account for who is shooting those shots that apparently are good looks? Or is it just they're good
just
looks?
Good looks.
The wrong guys are taking them.
Yeah. Well, and that, so I don't want to put this, that leads perfectly into what, dude, Bogdan's shooting has been so bad. He's 6 for 22 the last 2 games. He's shooting 27% on catching threes since the deadline.
He stinks on defense too.
Dude, he was getting destroyed on Friday on defense. It's got to come back, right? Like this is as bad as it was when he was with Atlanta. I thought it would come back. Maybe it's just more time. We've seen it be good a couple of games, but man, is it 27% on catch and shoot threes when you're brought here to do 1A catch and shoot threes for the most part. Is hurting the team. I don't know what the answer is other than more wide open shots per basketball index.
I think they're just encouraging him, keep going, push through it, because without Norm, he is a Norm archetype type player in a lot of ways. He could actually, he started the second half when they didn't have Norm, and it makes sense in theory.
There's a lot in theory that makes sense for this Clippers team. In theory,
he did go 4 of 11 last night. That's 36%. He knocked down a couple that brought it close and gave him a shot late. I don't know. It's been really, really up and down, and mostly down. I think though he's got to be a little bit above 30% now shooting wise as a Clipper from the outside.
I bet he's less than a full percentage point above 30% as a Clipper.
Okay, let me see here. Because I thought he was 30% going into that game. Okay, he's at 0.298.
Okay, so not. So if you round up, in Professor Austin's class, that's an F+. In my class, that's an F- still. Yeah, I don't know. I want that to be better. Like, I don't know what else to do. He's getting good looks, right? He's not going 1 for 12, like shooting off a double team or anything like that, right? Like he's at least making good decisions.
He missed 2 wide open threes in the near side corner and looked at himself last night like, what the hell is this? How can this be happening to me?
It seems
he's got the yips, Chuck.
He absolutely feels like he has the yips. For those of you who don't know what the yips are, it's when you're used to doing something a million times and then you step up to it, started in golf, and you just lose everything.
He's Steve Sachs right now throwing to first.
Dude, 100%. Like this is, and I'm not like trying to say it, like this is so shitty to deal with if you've ever had anything like the yips. He's brought here for one specific reason. that reason is not working. It's just I'm sure it's compounding whatever's going on in his head.
He's got to turn it around though.
Oh yeah, that yes.
Because we don't have any other option.
There is, because of up until last night how Kawhi Leonard looked, because of how James Harden's looked in terms of fatigue. There's a lot more stress on the other guys to hit their shots, and when that's not happening, things obviously look rough. Harden,
Chris Dunn of it all.
Yeah, and I love Chris Dunn. We need Chris Dunn. It's a conundrum, if you will, because we need his defense. But the opposing team is fine if Chris Dunn is taking the third most shots. They'll lose a game if Chris Dunn is hitting his shots. He is so good at defense. He should be on an all-defensive team. His value is immense. He's specialized. It's that thing with the Clippers where we have all these specialized. We have all these specialized tools, and when Harden, Kawhi, Norm, and I want to add Zoo to this, but he got forgotten in the game last night. When they're not able to do what they need to, the specialized tools, it just looks it's a lot harder for them to do anything else. Adam, you rolled your eyes at the Zubats thing. What the hell? When is this not what the hell at you? I understand why you rolled your eyes.
I'm almost nearing acceptance with Ivica Zubats not getting touches. I don't know what else to do. I've been freaking out about this for years, but this year it's like, how can this happen this year? How can it keep happening after you just played that team Friday night? He destroyed them. Game. He still could have gotten more touches in that game Friday. And then you get him 6 less the next game when you can't score? What is happening?
Yeah, I don't understand how the rotation crunch anytime someone's out ends up falling on Zoo, right? Shots go down.
Norm, left that game after 9 minutes. I think that, to see a decrease in Zoo's field goal attempts had Norm been out there for something approaching regular minutes, I feel like, okay, I mean, I can chalk that up. Sure. They're trying to get Norm back involved in the offense. He's obviously a very big part of it. They know what he can do scoring-wise. Zoo's role is a little bit more fixed, I guess. But yeah, for him to be gone too, it's all the more baffling. It's like they have this identity, but they don't know what's good for them.
Whew. Yes, damn.
There's nothing currently that pisses me more off in sports than Ivica Zubats not getting touches.
What about the Luka trade?
Okay.
This is 10 of those.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Why the fuck did you have to bring that up again? These are things we don't speak of. I mean, yeah. We'll actually talk about.
Yeah, you're like, this wasn't on the breakdown. I didn't see this on the breakdown. Okay, we talked about Zoo getting ignored. What's the remedy for Harden, man? Because tired Harden is not getting back on defense the way that he should be. Not to say, you know what I mean? He was doing a good job at it, but when he's tired, you can see it not happening. He's forgetting guys at the top of the key.
Another conundrum, though, because when he has extended, when he doesn't want to take rest, when he has extended rest, he comes back a little rusty. Is this just him sort of still shaking out of the All-Star break? Is what we're seeing, because it sure looks like fatigue to the eye, but is this perhaps him just trying to shake some of that rust off and just get back into sort of the motions, get that sort of momentum going again? I certainly hope it's that, because I mean, there's just a lot of season left, fellas.
A lot of season, not a lot of time. We are going to talk about our March record in the third segment, but I hope it's the rust, man. But he looks that 20-point third quarter was absolutely incredible last week. But I'm also like, how much did that take out of him for the games after that? Because he looks tired. Adam.
He's won for his last 12 quarters. He's had one good quarter in his last 12, I would say. Honestly, I think the solution is pretty clear. Give it up to Kawhi. You don't have to do everything anymore. Take the burden off of James.
Yeah.
The only positive I can find from what's going on with the injuries now is it puts more of an onus on Kawhi to have to be the lead dog again. And that's where they need to be anyways to get to their maximum potential.
which is
Yeah,
what?
if we were doing a gentle on-ramp for Kawhi's return to the rotation, it's now liftoff time,
It is
baby.
now,
Like it's
yeah. And we've gone from a very casual walk up a gradual slope to, hey, find the bouldering route, dude. You got to go straight up.
you
this
gotta go up,
thing.
buddy.
Yeah, I like that, Adam. I think I'm gonna try and buy into that this will light a fire under Kawhi, and then we get more sets where he's getting looks at the elbows. We're getting some small pick and roll or something like that. Like
Thing is,
there's hope to be mined out of this and huffed from a big bucket.
Kawhi was at his best last night and has been as of late, I believe, with James Harden off the floor, and the numbers will bear that out. Where there's a clear distinction of what your role is when he's off the floor or not playing next to you. But again, for them to actually peak, they have to figure it out with both of them on the floor. And I think it's clear. Just let Kawhi run the offense through him more. That will help James Harden with turnovers. Usage rate is going to go down. His efficiency should go up. His legs should be fresher. It's right there. Now, Kawhi's going to miss 5 more games because of the back-to-backs. So at most, he's playing 17 of the last 22.
Yeah.
What do you do in those 5 games? And that's kind of the problem to me. It's like, you can't just tell James Harden right now, hey, thanks for everything this season. Now it's Kawhi's team.
Right,
because Kawhi's not going to be there for all these games.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out how to flex and
sit James Harden the same games. Just be like, you're sitting the same games Kawhi's. You need to rest. I don't think that would go over well at all.
Hey, maybe if Ben was healthy, they could do it. But now, even that's a problem. It is. Like, I think they could have used him last night.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's a guy who makes anyone who makes James Harden's life easier in terms of setting the offense up can always be used. Unfortunately, the only other person on the roster other than Kawhi that can do that is Ben Simmons.
But you just can't have this evolving offensive identity all the time and how you want to play out there. It's too hard for role players. And I know that's been an ongoing thing in the 2-1-3 era and beyond, but it's just there are 22 games left. Is there really enough time? It's looking dire, guys.
We don't even have a set starting lineup, which some people have been worried about for a minute. Is there anything specifically from the 2 Lakers games that we want to talk about before we talk the standings a little bit? The 35er was fun, by the way, on Friday. Anyone who came out, thanks for coming out, Spencer, DLG. That was a good time. Vlad. I don't know. Oh, one thing that pissed me off, and this might be the old man in me, Luka rubbing the ball on his head to put all the sweat onto it before the free throw. Just gross. I would be mad if anybody did that. Just gross. Like, you don't see that a lot for a very good reason, and then it's gross and like it could have been a Clippers player who did it. I would call them out too, but like, just gross, man. Like, don't do that shit.
Maybe that's what Nico didn't like.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he's the gross crew. He said, we don't want to be the gross crew. We got to get this guy out of here. Okay, quick peek at the standings, because we're going to preview Clippers versus Suns, which I don't know how big this game is. It feels like both of the teams in the game tomorrow, like, not their season hinges on it, but it's a real clash of sad stories is what it is. But the Clippers, seeds 6 through 10, are separated by half a game. The Clippers have the tiebreaker over the Warriors, which I believe is the only other team they have the tiebreaker over in that list, because the Suns have smoked us.
Kings, maybe?
Maybe the Kings, yeah. The Suns are 4.5 games back of the Clippers and maybe trying to make something happen. They have the hardest strength of schedule, but they do have the tiebreaker. Things are coming to such a stressful end for this month, specifically with how these standings are shaking out. I'm so happy we have that tiebreaker over the Warriors, because this team in the play-in, I don't love the chances. I don't know. How are we feeling about the standings, Will? What are we thinking before we get into this preview a little bit?
I mean, it's tough. It's tight. That tiebreaker over the Warriors ends up being really, really huge. Yeah, I don't know. This month is so much hinges on it. Yet again, the Clippers are in a similar position where March means so much to the rest of the season. Look, other teams around this area could start to slide a little bit too. I'm still liking the Clippers at 6, but it is going to be that much more difficult.
Yeah, the 5th seed, just for reference, 5 games ahead of the Clippers.
Yeah,
the Rockets.
That's out of reach.
It's 6 or 6 are playing.
Which is where we kind of said they would be.
We said at best they could end up 6 this coming into the year.
And that feels
it's gonna be a challenge.
Pretty accurate.
I'll take 6.
I would take 6. One of the few things we've gotten right on this podcast. I don't think we're catching the Rockets. I'm also skeptical that the Suns can make up 4.5 games on us.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing it.
The Suns have the toughest strength of schedule left. I think they're cooked, but that doesn't mean they can't win tomorrow.
Exactly. Okay, perfect segment. The professional had the perfect segment. We are going to be talking Clippers versus Suns. A must-win game for both teams. I don't know. It is disaster in Phoenix. The vibes are weird in LA. If you're watching, there's not going to be a break. If you're listening, there's a quick audio break. You can avoid those at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast. If you want to watch us, see our beautiful faces. We got some ads, and then Clippers versus Suns coming up in 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back into Clips and Dip. We talked the disappointing double loss to the Lakers, a little bit about where the Clippers are sitting in the standings. Somewhere the Clippers are sitting better than would be the Suns, who they are taking on, which they are defeated currently against the Suns on the season, 0-3. Look, we talked about it leading in. I don't know if in terms of a tiebreaker, obviously there's nothing at stake here for either team. What does it mean in the Western Conference? I mean, it would be nice if the Clippers could win a game against a Western Conference opponent. Again, not that they're moving up anywhere, but to not if things do come to a tiebreaker for that for the last play-ins for the last playoff spot, it's not looking so hot. So in that sense, there is a lot on the line for this team and a lot for the Suns because they always seem to show up for this this matchup. Hate each other.
We hate the Suns. The Suns are also imploding. There's like some vibes with Budenholzer and Devin Booker and like.
It seems like they're going to move KD now, which I don't know why that would be public.
They've already talked about it. Yeah, they're like, well,
at this point of the season?
Like this is their hope. Hey, I know it sucks right now, but guys, we are going to move Kevin Durant this summer. So look forward to that.
You have that to look forward to.
This is the Paul George shutting down the podcast of actual basketball GMing. One quick thing. It is injuries are a horrible part of the game, but the timing of certain announcements can be comical. The fact that PG was like, I'm shutting this shit down because I got to lock in. And was it the next day that the Sixers were like, we got to shut down Joel Embiid? Like, get back to the pod, man. It's fine. We're not doing anything.
Saying that being 12 games under 500, that now it's time to go out and compete and turn this around is wild.
So that's just
we would have done hours on this.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh yeah. There would have been some peak, some hate watch potting. So for the Clippers,
glad we don't have to anymore. Wow, man, what a relief.
I was
best takeaway of the season, to be perfectly honest.
So far, I was dishonorably discharged from the army of Paul George by Carl Tart.
Some smuck said in Philly when they brought in Paul George, it's our year, and they're looking pretty dumb right now.
Fools. So for the Clippers, there's no Norm, there's no Ben Simmons, there's no Derek Jones Jr. I haven't looked up the Suns injury report, but I can't imagine it's as lengthy as that one. I don't know, man. So since the All-Star break, the Suns have the 29th defensive rating since the All-Star break. Very bad.
Large sample size there.
Very big sample.
Hey,
I'll take what I can get, man.
If you go back their last 14 games, they're 30th in defensive rating.
Okay, there we go.
I mean, they've been bad. They do not. There's no helping the helper going on there.
They are shooting the lights out. since the All-Star break. The worst three-point percentage for anyone who takes more than 4 threes a game is Grayson Allen. He's at 35%. That's not ideal, but everyone else is over 37.5%, and Bradley Beal's shooting 45% from three since the All-Star break. So for the whole teams are shooting well against the Clippers, we're running into a team that's shooting well since the All-Star break against everybody.
Can this team even score competently against the 30th ranked defense? I think given some of the absences is something to be concerned about.
Because the Clippers have also been bad. 23rd in defensive rating, 23rd in offensive rating, 26th in net rating since the All-Star break.
Do you think there's a reason, and the reason that Kawhi is playing this game of the back-to-back is,
we need to fucking
look
win.
at that defense. We can feast and find our offense?
Yeah, I think that's a great call because they got the Pistons on Wednesday, which is a game that we hope they win, but I don't know. The Pistons are good, so might as well sit Kawhi. It's a conference game versus the Suns. I think you're totally right.
Or is it more that of the two games, this one seems more winnable?
Which is crazy.
What you saw versus the Pistons. I mean, Pistons are good right now. They're surging right now. Like
I know, but like 365 days ago, if you were like, "Hey, next year it's going to be more advantageous for Kawhi to play against the Suns than against the Pistons." No, Adam, I think you're totally right, and I think this is a team that maybe we see him in the play-in. Who know? Right? Like we don't know what's going to happen with that. Like I hope. Because we just talked, we probably won't. Because we just talked about maybe this is the game we get going with Kawhi initiating more offense. Maybe Harden gets a little break.
This is about building some good habits and getting 2 games in a row where Kawhi looks really good. Like, why have him cool off for an extra day when he just looked that good against the Lakers? Maybe it's trying to keep Kawhi in rhythm.
I like that, a momentum play. That's definitely more positive.
We're searching.
We are fine. We are trying to find it. What do we need to go right for this one? Other than, and I mean this with full sincerity, basically almost a 1-for-1 performance from what Kawhi had last night tomorrow.
One of Bogdan or Dunn is going to have to shoot better than 30% from three.
And I think it's Bogdan because Chris Dunn, it's found money if Chris Dunn shoots better from 30.
He was great in that first Lakers game.
He was.
If not for the fouls, which, haunted him again in the second one, but
That
if not for
was
the
crazy.
fouls, like, he could have maybe swung that first game.
Yeah. That's found money to me, right? As Chris Dunn hitting threes, I'm like, great. I'm not banking on that. We kind of have to bank on Bogdan hitting threes, future-wise.
Yeah, there's really no other option going on here. Amir didn't take a shot last night. Did you notice that? In 22 minutes, he was 0 for 0.
That club trillion stat line.
And he had a bad game Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's a 41% three-point shooter this year. That's pretty wild.
More bad news from Adam on this episode.
What's wild and crazy, though, is how he's going to turn it around in Phoenix.
There we go. Okay.
Where it's hot.
What What are we looking for from Harden? Like this, I want to look up his games versus Phoenix this year, but like it feels like we need the most because our main contributors are older. We need the most like base things. We're like, I hope he looks spry. Like, I hope he looks energized. I hope he's not forgetting guys at the top of the key. Like,
yeah, we can't count on guys just physically having it every night. It's like, do they have it tonight? Do they have their legs? And maybe. I really hope that wasn't just Kawhi had some pop that night, but the next 2 games he's going for 18 to 20 again.
Yeah, I like that is definitely something to watch for. Okay. Harden has been pretty good against the Suns this year, despite us losing. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm trying to find some positive. Give Zoo the ball. Let's give Zoo the ball. That's something that needs to go right. I know we say that every single episode, but like, except for that 2 weeks where they were doing it, but Zoo can make a lot of this stuff easier too.
Who's guarding him? Bol?
I think so. Is that who they're starting?
I know he's had some numbers here and there recently.
And he kills the Clippers. We've watched him be like a unicorn against the Clippers and been like awesome. And then he started their last game against the Timberwolves that they lost by almost 20 points.
I swear to God, if Ivica Zubac doesn't get up 13 shots tomorrow,
you're done.
I'm this close to really
this close. Yeah, I mean they are not playing good basketball. I did not watch Phoenix versus Minnesota, but you can't have a starter in Nick Richards play 25 minutes and not attempt a single shot. They're broken. They're a little broken fundamentally.
Oh yeah, they got Nick Richards. That didn't even help.
Which is, hey, slump busters, right? This is what the Clippers need. We need a team that is broken internally to build some good momentum against.
But they're so due as well. I hate that. I wish they got that win against Minnesota for many reasons.
Well, and Booker didn't have a good game.
Booker hasn't had a good season.
Yeah.
Somebody said we should trade Ivica Zubac and Norman Powell for Devin Booker this summer. I'm like,
no,
I'm not giving up just Norman. Powell was better than him this season. I mean, I probably would, but I'm definitely not doing both.
I would probably do Norm Powell for Devin Booker. Future-wise.
I wouldn't do Zoo for him.
Would you do Zoo for Devin Booker straight up?
I don't think I would.
Well, it's not like the backup center. It's not like we have anyone to slide into that backup center role to pick up any of the slack. So, I can see it.
I think about it. But I'm not doing both.
Yeah, man, if we can't are we more worried about we know what the offense is.
Yeah.
Obviously
one thing on the offense though. We're 6-9, I think, in our last 15. And those games, correct me if I'm wrong, but they almost perfectly coincide with Harden has in that same 15 games span, he has 9 games shooting sub 40% from the floor. And I believe I want to say that is every one of those losses.
I can see it.
Ooh, nope. We won a couple. It looks like we won 2 games. Maybe 3 games. It looks like, yeah. So
the shooting numbers are on our side.
Sure, yeah.
We won some games we shouldn't have.
Yeah, we won 2 games we shouldn't have in the 15-game span where we went 6-9. Yeah, man, I feel like are we more worried? So since the All-Star break, I mentioned they're 23rd in defensive rating, 23rd in offensive rating, which isn't too far away from where they've been all year. I think they've been stuck at 22-ish. Are we more worried about the offense or the defense? This game, I'm going to be honest, specifically, offense. I'm so worried about this game because our top-tier guys are not playing well enough to make up for the fact that Derrick Jones Jr., Ben Simmons, and Norm Powell are going to be out.
Well, I will say they were plenty good enough against the Lakers both games defensively. They were. Dalton Connect going off like that, his best game since November.
Right.
And a couple of those, they were not wide open. He had like a step back. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Shake Milton going 2 of 2 from 3, who was having a rough year. That was brutal. I mean, they won the minutes Friday night when Luka and LeBron were on the court. They won those minutes against them.
But they did not win the other minutes, which are the minutes you got to win.
But that's why Coach Luke came out afterwards, like Friday night, he said, this is a game we should have won. This is a game where you got to win. If you win the Luka LeBron minutes, how do you lose the game? Well, their bench was bad. I think they had 14 points off the bench. And I don't know if that's going to get much, much better without Norm right now.
Or Derrick Jones Jr. Because it's
Bogey's got to be better, but he might be starting. So
yeah,
Weir's got to take a shot.
Yeah, Willie, you're more worried about the offense.
Yeah.
We've seen the defense be very good, so it makes sense to not be as worried about him. This offense just keeps.
You would just hope you could do something. against the 30th ranked defense. You would hope that you could get a little something going.
We're going to need, Harden, Kawhi, and Zoo are all going to have to be at 20 points to get the win tomorrow. Because, Jordan Miller's going to get time tomorrow.
Yeah.
With how little guys we have.
Could he be the remedy to the Clippers bench scoring woes?
No. It was not yesterday.
Okay, people were so mad yesterday. They're like, how come we're playing Kobe Brown and Jordan Miller? It's like, guys, you get mad when Ty Lue doesn't play the young guys. Then there's foul trouble, and we're down a guy, and you're mad that he's playing the young guys. It's okay to just be frustrated at the whole product. It's just be frustrated with the whole thing. Don't try and zero it in right now. There's a lot of issues you can be frustrated at, but the fouls on Dunn were crazy.
That was brutal.
They did not get a good whistle last night at all.
No, it was bad. But we're here now. We're on the play of the young. We're going to see some young guys tomorrow. Let's hope Jordan Miller can shoot over 40% or whatever the hell we need. We need Drew Eubanks to be good tomorrow because he will be getting minutes.
He was pretty good yesterday, I gotta say.
Okay, you're ordering the jersey right now.
Hold on, guys. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm getting a half World Be Free, half Eubanks jersey. That's what I'm getting. Adam, Alex, go ahead.
No, I'll be honest. I think they had already gone 2 minutes scoreless at that point. Coach Lue said, I need some energy. I'm looking for something. As you mentioned, guys are in foul trouble. They're down Norm Powell. They have to do something. I was fine with the idea of it. I don't think that was the reason they lost the game. Now, the Clippers ended up going 7 minutes and 34 seconds without making a point. Not a shot, just scoring a point to end the second quarter. And that's an all-timer. That is
Is that the longest stretch? What's in the last 5 years? What's the longest stretch of basketball they've gone without scoring a point?
And Kawhi was out there for 4 minutes of it.
Yeah. It can't be far off of 7:45. I don't know. Anything else we want to say about this must-win game? So this is what bothers me about this game. I do have one thing else I want to say. If the Clippers lose this game, this is the game that gives a team like the Suns a, hey, whoa, oh, shit.
Maybe I think they might be past that point.
I agree. But if there's one team to give a team belief when they are fundamentally broken and the star player and the head coach are kind of having a public spat through the media, it is this Clippers team. And it is this Phoenix team to be dickheads and get the win and then have some scenario where we're staring at the 10 seed because we don't have the tiebreaker. Handedly do not have the tiebreaker.
I don't think Phoenix can get back into the play-in. Maybe they can. They do have talent, but
Norm's out for 2 weeks.
They can definitely win this game. I completely agree that they're looking at the Clippers like food. This is the team we always beat and have a mental edge over. Because if you look at how they won those first 2 games this season.
The first game and into it, God damn.
First game and into it. They're down 9 with 3.5 minutes left. They come back, take it to overtime and win. The second effing game, the Clippers were up 21 and they went 15 of 15 shooting to start the third quarter. Things I'll never see again in my life. They hit 15 straight shots. They got confidence against the Clippers.
That they do. Okay, player of the game picks. Everyone's on the table. We're throwing out the rules because the Clippers, Kawhi has not played good enough consistently. Harden looks exhausted. They don't care that Zoo's out there. Will, who is your pick for the please can we just get a win against the Suns player of the game? And we're not doing – I know we haven't talked about the game against the Pistons. That game feels like a punt at this point. Kawhi's not going to play. I can't imagine they bring Norm back for it, and I hope they sit Derrick Jones Jr. So, that game's maybe off the table. I'm very negative right now. I apologize. Will, your pick.
I'm going bogey. I'm putting it all on the line here, man.
That is the craziest take ever said on this podcast, but we need it.
It is. And Yeah, just shoot above 30% from three, man. Like just do that, and you'll win the very prestigious Player of the Game award from And who knows? This could actually spill over into the Pistons game as well. You never know. It's a pretty crazy world up there. Pretty crazy things can happen. But yeah, man, he's got to turn it around. And going up again to stress against the 30th ranked defense would be the time to do it.
Okay. We have Will with bogey.
I know, it's an insane thing.
No, man, bro.
We need it.
The last 40 minutes, I feel like I've been descending slowly into insanity talking about this team. Adam, your pick for Player of the Game against the Suns.
I see your bogey pick. I like to live dangerously too. I'm taking Norman Powell, baby. No.
Just the fucking
the vibes from Norman Powell in the bet. No, we can take anybody. Fine. You know what? I'm taking James Harden. He's been worse than Bogey the last 2 games.
Sure, in terms of role and
He's
everything like that.
9 for 36. That's 25% from the field. Are you kidding?
I think that's a perfectly reasonable pick and a good reason to do it. All right, I'm not going to say Kawhi or Zoo, but we very much need the 320 club to form tomorrow night. Who is left? Who else is on the roster? Man, I don't know.
Take Amir. Do it. He might take a shot.
We need I'll go Amir. We need a shot of espresso. Like, he hates the Suns, I think. Let's go Amir. Whew, I do not feel good going into this game. I hope Clippers talk is chill for you, Adam. I can't imagine it was very fun after the Lakers games.
I had a guy calling last night named Rick, and he's like, we're not a championship caliber team. I'm like, look.
Duh. You hit him with the duh.
I didn't hit him with the duh. I said the idea was you get healthy, you have a healthy Kawhi in a 7-game series, and you can compete with just about anybody in the West. And I still believe that. I do.
Okay.
I don't know if it's ever going to happen because they're more banged up now.
I will defend your right to believe things I don't believe in, Adam.
Like the way Kawhi looked last night, I'm like, that's your number one guy. That's what you need. And if they could get back to playing the level of defense they were consistently, and teams, just start missing, because the last 15 games, they're shooting 39% from 3 against the Clippers. It's the highest 3-point percentage against anybody. So I still think there's a path to make noise in the playoffs. Lots got to change soon. But this guy was like trying to compare him to the Lakers and saying how the Lakers try to compete every year. And I'm like, wait a second, dude. Because they got handed Luka Doncic on a silver platter does not mean you should be criticizing the Clippers like, why didn't you get Luka Doncic or something? They got super lucky, and everybody knew before that they were going nowhere fast. They maybe went around, maybe 2 at best, but their ceiling was pretty low. I mean, I don't know. It's just that is part of what's going on right now with the vibes. Look at the Lakers.
Absolutely.
Look at them versus us. It's like, look at them. Everybody, they all wanted Rob Pelinka fired a month ago. And now, because Luka fell in their lap, they're doing things right and the Clippers are doing things wrong.
Have the Clippers considered fleecing a GM for a top 3 player of all time? Has that even crossed their mind?
Yeah, I don't know. Lawrence Frank should have had ties at Nike that go back 25 years with Rob Pelinka. Like, why wasn't he there?
Foolish. My hindsight, crazy good. That's all I want to say. My hindsight is some of the best out there. All right, coming up, let us know your picks over at Clippers Pod on Twitter or at Clippers Podcast on YouTube. We're going to talk March and then some Jordan Miller stuff, and then we'll get out of here. There's some audio ads coming up, and then March and Jordan Miller talking 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back in. Episode 50. of season 3 of Clips and Dip. I'm Adam Moslem. We got Chuck Mockler and Will Updike. And Chuck's favorite subject,
Yeah.
the Ides of March.
Mm-hmm.
They are about to be upon us. I think that's middle of March, what that means. But we'll be there soon enough. But it's not as dire as it was last year when there were 17 games in March. That was the real test. Now it's only 16.
Child's play.
Dude. This is a walk in the park for the Clippers, right?
Yeah, extra practice day? Are you kidding me? Yeah, so we got the Suns Pistons back-to-back starting tomorrow. Then home versus the Knicks, day off, home versus the Kings. Then we fly to New Orleans for a Pels Heat back-to-back. Then a 4-game homestand against the Hornets, Cavs, Grizzlies, and Thunder. And then away for 4 games against the Knicks, Nets, Cavs, and Magic. Cavs and Magic is a back-to-back. There's no easy stretch. All of it is difficult. There is 1 or 2 easy games, which is Hornets and Nets. Everyone else is a very difficult opponent for this Clippers team. The Clippers are already 0-1 in March. Will, Adam, what is your prediction for their record this month? They're already 0-1. So unfortunately, I know you guys were talking undefeated talk off air about March. That was the whole group chat was what's our point differential going to be when we go undefeated in March? Will, what is your pick for the record in March? Not what they need to be a 6th seed, which is probably 12-4.
I'd settle for 8-8.
Looking at it March 3rd, 6:26 p.m., I can understand settling for 8-8. Adam, what say you? E2, Adam? Little Ides of March jokes.
Yeah, we got that.
Some listeners might not have. They're not as well learned. I don't know. They probably know more.
Did you guys have to memorize 50 lines from Caesar in high school? I don't know. We had to for some reason.
Yeah, pizza. I said that 50 times.
I got your line.
No, did you have to do that?
Yeah.
That sounds like something they'd make you do in a schoolhouse.
It was tough. This English teacher had a wild hair. I don't know what his problem was.
How much do you remember of it?
I remember none of my lines.
Okay.
At all. They say you forget stuff like 6 months after the class is over. Like you're pretty much. So I don't know what the point of school and the point is in the first place.
Anti-school, right?
What is happening on this podcast right now?
We're pro-school. I want to make that very clear.
The whole education thing. If you forget it 6 months anyways.
I don't even think that's
Where
true.
did you find this stat? I don't think I've ever heard
that. Sounds like you remembered that, though. Okay.
All right. I'm going 8-8.
Damn.
If I'm being realistic, 8-8.
Yeah.
With the injuries, it's because of the damn injuries. Otherwise, I might go 10-6.
And that is
they were healthy.
It'd be an improvement over 6-9.
10-6 does unfortunately feel like miles away from 8-8 when it's really not, right? Like it's not that crazy. But if Norm is out because there's a lot of games coming up. So if Norm is out for those, and then Derek Jones Jr. is banged up, Simmons is hurt, it seems. Like
ballpark Norm is gonna miss at least 7 games.
Let me look up this. I don't know how I don't have the
schedule. Would guess
8-8 feels pretty good.
So he's missing. Let's go ahead and chalk it up. He's missing Suns and Pistons. There's 2. I don't think he would play on March 7th or March 9th, which is against the Kings and Knicks. Then there's a back-to-back, the 11th and 12th. So he's probably missing one of those if he can come back. And the 12th would be under 2 weeks. He's missing at least 6 games. Yeah, 8-8 with Norm missing minimum 6 games. I'm feeling good is not the right word. I'm feeling.
I mean, that's something to put your hat on. 8-8, missing Norm for 7 games.
Yeah, you hang your hat on that, and then it immediately falls on. It comes out of the wall because you didn't put it into a stud.
That's going to put them in the play-in if they go 8-8.
They're just gonna be in the play-in, I think. Is
It's
how I'm looking at
more
it.
likely than not.
It is an anomaly that they have the tiebreaker over the Warriors, given how we've watched them play against every other conference opponent. Are we 19? We're 20-20 in conference play. It's a bad record.
Yeah.
They're going to be a play-in team. And, I'm going to be there and I'm going to be weeping. But
there's a real path. There's a real path to playing the Lakers in the first round this year.
Yeah. Will and I were talking about that when things were getting bleak last night. I'll tell you what, I want to avoid that at all costs. Let's be in the play-in and lose instead of playing the Lakers in the first round getting shit rocked.
Not the year where you feel most confident in that matchup.
No, despite it being our year, which is why this is so difficult to kind of wrap my head around.
I mean, we did win the LeBron and Luka minutes. You got to figure they would play pretty heavily in a playoff series. So.
Hell yeah. Yep. No, I like this logic. I think you're totally
a lot
right.
less bench play in those playoff games.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of liking where the Clippers are at.
Well, it helps the Clippers too, because that means Bogey's not taking shots if there's less bench play. Man, things don't feel good right now. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go 8-8. You know what? I'm gonna go 9-7. You pessimists. I'm going 9-7. I have no other logic other than we really need it. And maybe Kawhi starts hitting his stride more. I'm really going to be watching what Adam said about what does Kawhi look like tomorrow? Does it look the same? Because if it looks the same, I feel a lot better. I don't feel great, but I feel a lot better. Okay, more uplifting news, I guess. Jordan Miller signed a full contract. He gets part of the non-taxpayer MLE in his 4-year deal. $1.1 million this year, 2.2 next year, 2.4 the year after that, 2.6 in 27-28. The final 3 seasons are non-guaranteed. And the final season is a team option. How do we feel about this contract? Does this mean anything? I don't want to sound disrespectful. I'm very happy for Jordan Miller. He deserves
it. Could end up being a steal. Or not that big of a deal.
Steal or not that big of a deal. That should be the new haggle, no haggle. Will, where are you at on Jordan Miller? Everyone was very excited about him. He looked good a couple of games and then looked like he was getting his legs used to playing real NBA competition. And I think it's fallen out of favor with some fans who want young guys.
I think it makes sense. A little up and down start to his career. I think having an actual roster spot, and the contract does sort of change things. Could be. It just depends on how you look at the Clippers' sort of future plans. Like, are these young guys an actual step towards development, or is this just kind of waiting? Like, is this sort of just waiting the tides until they can make a big swing in free agency 2026? So I think depending on how you view the Clippers' future, I think is sort of like the lens through which is how much merit or onus you can put on any of these sort of contracts.
He should get time next year because, as you mentioned, there's going to be also everybody either put your seatbelt tighter or take the seatbelt off, depending on what you want the results to be. Next year is going to be very similar to this year. The books open up after next year.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be harder. So Jordan Miller should get some time to show and get some development next year.
You want to know what's hard?
Do I?
Seeing the Warriors pass you in the standings in real time while
you're no.
And the Clippers are in the play-in.
Are you serious?
The Warriors are about to beat the Charlotte Hornets, and they will be 33-28. Clippers 32-28.
Good. Feeling good on a Monday.
Oh God.
All right.
So now are both Suns and Pistons games must wins.
Yeah, we're not going to, but yeah. Drew Eubanks is going to go for 35 and 10 against the Pistons. That's what we need to happen. Bogey will make 2 threes. PJ Tucker will come out, play some good defense.
We'll pick him back up.
We'll pick him back up. I think once you've been in the NBA long enough, you should just get a pass that you can appear for one game for every team.
It's crazy. A guy like that is just out there.
Really, it makes you think.
Really makes you think, man. A lot of shit started going downhill once he was on the team. All right. Anything else?
Or something? Like what could be the?
Anything else about Jordan Miller before we send these Clippers fans mercifully into the rest of the week?
I hope he plays well tomorrow.
Shit.
I agree with you. He's going to be getting run probably the next 2 games.
There we go. Terrence Mann had a feud with Luka. It's time for Jordan Miller, the newest full-time Clipper, to start a feud with someone on another hated team that we don't like. All right. Thanks for hanging out. This is one of the more dark episodes you'll see of Clips and Dip. Usually we're pretty positive, but it was a pretty rough weekend. Except for, happy some certain people won Oscars. That was cool. We might do some post-game streams this week, possibly tomorrow against the Suns. We're going to have a full episode on Thursday just because of the back-to-back and whatnot. Listen to Adam on Clippers Talk. Call in and be friendly. Will, where can people, when they're being asked, what are you listening to? Where can people tell their first dates to find Clippers Talk to very much ensure a second date?
Yeah, you can find this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. If you happen to listen over on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go ahead, leave a little rating and review. Helps us out. The best way, in my opinion, to check out this podcast is over on youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast. Subscribe over there. Hit the little bell so you can know when we come out with new videos. We do stuff like this, sometimes a little bit more upbeat, but we also, we do lives. We have fun over there, and we want you to have fun too. So, however you consume the show, though, we appreciate you.
We really do. And Adam, the hardest job so far on this show, this episode in particular, let's leave Clippers fans with one positive thing before this back-to-back against the Pistons and Suns and then the Pistons.
Did you see Kawhi Leonard last night? He looked better than Luke and LeBron. LeBron looked his age for once. Kawhi was moving. Kawhi was turning the corner on guys. And that was just game 2 of him having the minutes restriction off. So what could be coming tomorrow against the Phoenix Suns, who everybody hates?
Everybody, even their own fans.
They hate their teammates.
Here's to a good Kawhi game. Here's to a good Zoo game. Here's to a good Harden game. Here's to us having a fun episode on Thursday. Thank you for hanging out. And as always, let's go Clips.